Greetings of advance Merry Christmas, everyone, and welcome to our session today for this subject on ELT 4008 Assessment of Language Instruction. As I have written in our stream, I will be attending a very important webinar today, and that is why I decided to pre-record our lecture. However, for those who are available tomorrow, Sunday, December 13, I will open our Google Meet link. And for those of you who are available, we can have our consultation there. So instead of having the synchronous, no, we will just have this asynchronous with you being provided this pre-recorded lecture. But tomorrow, I will be available from 12 to 3 as our schedule, and you may ask questions or clarifications, or you may communicate with me tomorrow. Okay. So last meeting, we have already talked about the importance of authentic assessment. And many of us would really believe the value of authentic assessment, especially in this time of trials when our students are not with us in the classroom face to face. No, so we really have to make sure that they are learning the knowledge and the skills that we are facilitating for them. So authentic assessment is a very good tool as well to see how well they have learned the skills, no, and the competencies. Now, for us to make sure that the assessment is graded and marked fairly, we have our best friend, and that is the rubrics. I know that many of us are already using the rubrics, and I'd like to emphasize further that with the rubrics, we are providing our students what are things for them to expect. So with the rubrics, there are no surprises. It is a guide in developing their assignment. Students, when we mark or when we put our rating, it is easy and efficient. And of course, there is equity in marking, reduces students saying, kana bitaw mo nga ma'am, unfair lagi. O, di ka kayong unfair because there is a rubric and there is really a tamdanan, no, for us to grade. Kay usahay, especially with during performances, ako ingon jud ko ani nga, I was a teacher before nga wa ko gamit-gamit og rubrics, magkabuang gyud kag sagang, no, when the students will ask you, ma'am, why is our group presentation only 12/20? Namo ana di ka kuan man gud ang inyong kuan ka nang pataka lang ka ba. Sometimes you become subjective. But with the rubrics, there is really a clear guide, and teachers will really become efficient in marking or in putting an assigned rate for the performance or the assessment ways, no, that we are giving. And therefore, when we do this, our evaluation is consistent. Dili kay karon maayo man imong pagmata gikan ka nag-nap, so pag-check nimo sa essay sa imong mga students, dagko kay kag rating kung wala kay rubrics ba, no, unya later on gikapoy naman ka, oy sus, nagkagagmay na imong rating ya, nagkabati ng agi kung wala tay rubrics, wa man tay tamdanan. So we go astray, no, mawagtang ta sa ato ang paggrado nila. Alright, so rubric is a scoring scale used to assess students' performance along a task-specific set of criteria. So, naay mga imuhang mga mechanics, no? So, we know already that authentic assessments typically are criterion reference measures. That is, a student's aptitude on a task is determined by matching the student's performance against a set of criteria to determine the degree to which the student's performance meets the criteria for that particular task. To measure students' performance against a predetermined set of criteria, we have our best friend, again, the rubric or a scoring scale. We create rubrics, no, that contains the criteria for the task and appropriate levels of performance for each criterion. So, munta na ka, ma'am, kita mo create sa rubrics? Yes! dapat ka mauta mo create og rubrics. Also, naapod tay mga websites that provide already rubrics, but nindot man gyud ang i-customize nimo imong rubric, and at the same time i-contextualize nimo sa imuhang setup, no, or with your current context. But for some of us nga kana na ang ganahan ta mangitag mga rubrics, daghan kaayo sa internet. You can visit Rubric Star. You can also go to iRubrics, no? Kaning mga websites, they provide many kinds of rubrics. But what I suggest is you may, no? Di man sa daingon nga, kailangan yun na ito imbintuhon ang tanan. Pwede raman yun ta mo borrow, no? Mo beg, borrow, and steal. Mingon to akong teacher sa una. Beg, borrow, and steal. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Kaya na-imbento naman yun, no? So, what we will do na lang is to tailor, fit, atong hasasan gamay, atong i-contextualize. Alright, so rubrics. It's a marking scheme. It can be used for any assessment, especially performance reviews or authentic assessments. And then there is a set of criteria that we will base our evaluation for, used to assess your learning outcomes. And then there is a range of formats, but all include lain-lain siyang format, no? But naagid tanan ang what you want your students to demonstrate, the criterion for evaluation, and levels of expectations. Now, again, to reiterate, the characteristics of a particular rubric is that it has, number one, description of the task. So, naana siya. Number two, there is a scale to be used. Number three, there is a set of dimensions of the task, description of each dimension. So, may kag poor, kung ari ka diri mo ingon kag very excellent, very good, unsa pa gyud na imong mga scale din ha. You have the authority, or you have the prerogative to use whatever words, no, as long as klaro imuhang set of criteria or criterion, and of course dili po siya musimang ba nga poor mo kalit na pug best, so duha ra gyud choices kay naman siya scale man siya, so dapat more than 2. Okay, so to continue, how do we create rubrics? So as I have mentioned, mas maayo mo gyud ang kamao ta mo create, although daghan kay rubrics available in the internet and in other books, but it is also important that we know how to make, no? So first, there is categories or there are categories to assess different components or elements that will assess factual information, application analysis, writing skills. Then there is also criterion for assessment, like the accuracy, the completeness, the length of number of examples. So depende siya sa unsay imuhang ipamutang that you want to check on sa output sa students or sa task or sa performance, no? And then of course, very important is the level of points. So may like 3 to 5, there is a sunod nga column 6 to 10. So depende, because you will add everything man sad at the end of the rating, then that is the mark of the students. So this is what I mentioned earlier, no, na kay good, na kay excellent, good, fair, poor. So upat ra iyang category. Pwede sa kag dili mo gamit ana excellent, good. Pwede kag exemplary, proficient, acceptable, not acceptable. So depende ra gyud nimo. Nagi ko na rubric nakitaan nga lain sa ihang mga wordings, no? Example, ang iyang pinaka very good kay ang iyang excellent kay very good. Nya sunod good. Nya sunod average or acceptable. So imo lang yung punta na. And then the points are also presented there. Here is an example of a rubric, no? Template for analytic rubrics. So if you can see in the left column na ay mga criteria 1, 2, 3, 4. So unsay mga aspects of the performance that you want to grade. Example, Sa essay baron, you want to look into the content mo na imong criteria 1. Criteria 2 nimo tan-aw nimo ilahang use of words or vocabulary. Tan-aw nimo gipanggamit ba itong mga vocabulary words that you have learned that they have learned because of your word bank every Monday or every Tuesday, depende. And then your criteria 3 might be, say, mechanics, looking into the grammar component, like ang iyang SV agreement, ang mga pag-use sa adjectives, ang mga tenses niya, sakto ba, dili kinikalit og past, the present, the future, unsa ba, wala ba mahiton mong unsa, no? So, mechanics. And then, last baron is ang ihang mga mechanics, apil na mga punctuation marks, capitalization. Last baron, ang imong criteria number 4 baron is ang opening, closing sa paragraphs or sa whole essay. So, depende nimo, no? What are you targeting to look into, or what are the things that you would like to focus on in the assessment and in the performance of your students. So you will see here in the other columns, muna ni atong gitawag nga mga levels of points, no? So naasad tay mga wordings ana niya. So we have here beginning, developing, accomplished, pinaka-last exemplary. Pinaka-best na gina siya. So iyang points kay 1, 2, 3, 4 lang. So, pwede po ka mong gamit yung 10, 20, 30, 40. So, depende sa imuhang point system that you would like. And then, total na tanan siya diha sa ubos, then you will have the total score. So, if you can see in the beginning, na siya description, reflecting lang po the beginning level of this particular performance. So, mayroon kag sa itong first criteria ganina, ang content. So, beginning ganit niya is able to explain what his ideas about federalism, is able to explain lang. Number 2, akaning developing, is able to explain by giving examples and situations that would lead to the understanding of federalism. So sa accomplished baron, is able to clearly explain na kay mga adjectives ipang add, no, to really differentiate one from the other. Exemplary kay perfectly elucidates or perfectly clarifies daon sa bana diha kay perfect na magina imong exemplary. So sa criteria number 2 on the use of vocabulary, sa beginning baron, made use of 2 to 3 vocabulary words learned during the semester out of the 30 vocabulary words. Sa imong developing, made use of 10 words from the 30 words that you are using or you are learning. Sa imuha barong accomplished, made use of 20 words. Exemplary, all 40 words were used. No, all 30 words that you discussed were used in the essay. So depende. Sa mechanics, beginning with more than 5 grammar mistakes. Sa developing, with only 3, and sa accomplished, no grammar mistakes or very, very minimal. O yan, sa exemplary, no grammar errors. No? So you are going to write descriptors for every criteria or criterion. Okay? And then I actually got this from this website, so you can check this out, Designing and Scoring your Classroom Practical Assessment, Research, and Evaluation. So that is my source. Another type of rubric is kaning holistic lang siya nga rubric. Dili kay siya as specific as the ones I have mentioned. However, ang kaning holistic, it can also serve as our guide. So assesses the finished product as a whole. So iya lang gitanaw, ang tibuok lang yun niya nga output, but looks at multiple factors in each level. Example, naa siya mga description dire pero dili na gid pareha atong ganina nga naa patay accuracy, ang lain criterion ba, accuracy, katong content, unya use of vocabulary, unya mechanics, unya unsa pa to, wala na to siya, but imuha lang gibutang ang holistic view lang gid siya sa descriptions. Okay, So, kay scoring diha 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ana siya, no? Okay. Okay, here is, muna akong giingon ninyo nga, you can actually Google iRubric, no? iRubric.com or Rubric Star. Daghan siyang mga rubrics dito. So here is an example that you can actually use in your class. This is a journal article critique. Kita mga English teachers, we really want our students to critique this journal. Read this article, give your insights, mga anak, no? And then use this rubric. So, iyang mga criterion are the following: summary, article choice, organization, mechanics, requirements. And then ang iyahang mga scale here is 10 points for excellent, good, 8, fair, 5, poor, unacceptable, 0, na gyud kapait. And then in every box or in every criterion here with kanina ang levels of points, naagyo siya clear description. So, example, sa summary, the article is clearly but succinctly summarized only the key points of the article are touched upon. The article summary takes no more than 1/3 of the total assignment. So, muna ihang gipasabot sa 10 points. So, ari siya sa 8 points. Kung ang article is clearly summarized, but some sub-points are addressed along with the main points. The summary, so etc. na diha, no? Fair, this article summary is somewhat. So, if you've noticed, so man yung natanaw, naagid mga adverbs, adjectives, no? Nga, clearly good kaayo, no? But, diri kay somewhat lang, diri kay wa gid unclear at all, no? So there is a delineation when can the score or when can the student attain 8 points, 5 points, depende. So on. So article choice, naapod na siya mga description. So again, if we make our own rubric, we have to look into the criteria, no? Unsa man ang mga aspects where we are going to grade, and then descriptions for every aspect, for every levels. Mo na pinaka-importante. And of course, the scoring points. Pila man diri dapita, pila nga score imong ibutang. Ang uban ani scale no 10, 8 to 10. So mo kuan pud gamay ang teacher ba na pud siya gamay a little bit of subjectivity lang kung 8, 9, 10 naman na nga scale, no? All right. So with that, I would like you to make use of the remaining time. I only took 18 or 20 minutes siguro nino of our lecture time today. So half of the period or more than half of the period is for you to do your own. So again, as I have mentioned, you may get benchmarks from other rubrics that are already available, but I challenge you to create your own. Kamo kuno para makat-on gid bitaw tano. The more we do, the more we learn by it. So I'd like you now, for the remaining time of this period, to do the task. Unsa man nga task? No, I want you to create rubrics for scoring the following assessment. So in English, kusog mo kita magpa-write og essay, no? I'd like you to create a rubric for an essay. Nya kusog po ta magpa-reporting. Sige, report about this. So create with another rubric for reporting. And then sometimes we ask our students to make infographics or kana mga poster with all the ideas, no? Capsulizing the ideas in our lecture. Example, a literature lesson baron, chapter 1 of Odyssey by Homer, or may okay, chapter 1 of Romeo and Juliet, or uso pa ba na aron unsa mga libro yung ipamasa. Make an infographics about it or a poster, no? So unsa man yung paggrado. So make a rubric out of that. And then sometimes we also ask our students to make journal reflections. So sige daw, make kuno a journal reflection indicating your insights, no, about a particular item or a particular phenomenon or a lesson learned. So magpahimo din tag journal. So this time it's your turn to make, no, to work on 4 rubrics, 10 points each, and submit it in our Google Classroom in the classwork panel. Okay, so with that, we are going to I am going to hopefully check it this afternoon after your submission dayon within the day. And again, I repeat, tomorrow I will be available 12 to 3, no? But di siya compulsory nga musud gud mo dito sa ato ang kanina ang ato ang Google Classroom. However, for those who are available lang tomorrow katong mga naay duolay mga lakaw or unsa ba na diha, you may see me in our Google Meet. But again, dili siya compulsory ha, katulang naay time unya kato na mga pangutana, katong ganahan maminaw sa atong mga magkulo ka bildo ta ugma Sunday for those who are available. All right, so this lesson actually is third to the last. Next meeting, mananguha gyud ta nga mag-synchronous because next meeting, December 19, is our last meeting before Christmas break. Pero mobalik pa tag January. Kay naa pa man tay mga 2 weeks remaining before the final exam. So again, next meeting, December 19, we will be talking about different language tests. Okay? So, murag taas-taas ni siya gamay nga lesson or lecture just to give you heads up, mga consume tingay ta sa whole period. And then, the last topic, muna siya second to the last topic, ang kaniang, unsay tawag ini, ang kaniang language tests. Unya atong last topic gyud for this course, which we will discuss by January, will be about testing for the macro skills like the listening, reading, writing, viewing, speaking, no? So duha na lang di ka topics na bilin. These are language tests, which we will discuss on December 19, and the last topic, testing the macro skills, English macro skills, which will be discussed by January when we come back from the Christmas break. All right. So with that, I would say good day, everyone. God bless. Keep safe. And I will be waiting for your output, the 4 rubrics for the 4 assessments given. And for those who are available tomorrow, Sunday, I will be available as well for consultation and for some other discussions related to what we have discussed so far. And we can meet via our Google Meet link. Thank you and have a great day, everyone.